Okay, thanks everyone. Uh, why is showing the screen profile? Okay, profile I can close. All right. Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks to Global Big Data Conference team. Uh, I've been lucky that they keep inviting me to speak and present and share some of my experiences over the last couple of decades that I have been in the space of what I call value from data, various different ways in various different industries. And today's topic I chose uh, in the last 10 years I have spent in energy industry. Um, I've seen some interesting comments, interesting way to derail the projects, and interesting way of expresses from leadership that, oh, artificial intelligence will work, will not work, things like that. And so I thought I'll put a title like Artificial Intelligence is not a magic bullet. Leadership needs to really invest and see results and value. So it will be very high level. I'm not going in technical algorithms or anything because I feel it's all about value creation. Algorithms are just simple tools. Since my introduction, Professor Dr. Murthy has already given, I'm going to skip. The only thing I will add is I recently became a visiting chair professor at IIT Bombay as well in the Center for Oil, Gas and Energy. And that's itself, for me, it's a really humbling moment because that's where I did my PhD a couple of decades ago. So, is people talk about artificial intelligence. Is this really a joke, or is it something what I call stupidity when people want to derail things? For some of the comment, I just put two comments here. One is some very senior people, very highly experienced people will say, artificial intelligence can solve this problem in 13 minutes. Why do you need weeks to look at the data and work on it? I think you guys don't know how AI works. Now, if when you ask these same people what AI means, uh, you get very interesting answers. But these are the same people in the leadership who really cannot even give you the data that is required to build a model in 6 weeks. And forget about giving you the data or giving access to the data. These are the same people who can't even sign a statement of work basically in 6 months. So now, on one side, they say AI is something very interesting which can solve things immediately, but their own processes and workflows cannot be addressed. So, this is a huge gap in understanding how to generate value and where to generate value. Big issue. When then, if you ask even some very senior leader leading these organizations, head of AI or head of data science, and say ask them what is the artificial intelligence, you will get answers like this. Oh, it is machine learning. Now, tell them. Even my undergraduate students know the difference between AI and machine learning. Or some people will just say they think that they know a little bit of technology, then they'll say, oh, it is R, Python, and big data. And those who really don't want to really say anything, it is not for us. We know how our business runs. We can do it with dashboards. So you can see, like, people have not really understood how to create value, and most of that is really at the leadership level. Uh, Operationally, what quote unquote data scientist can do is significant, and we have seen a result of it in so many areas. But when it comes to transforming business, I think it's the leadership. I think there are various articles now coming up out slowly that why these projects fail. But what if we look at some history of artificial intelligence? I think those in my age group would know that many years ago, AI or neural network was considered to be an interesting thing. And then suddenly there was a neural network winter, and then it has come back again in the last few years. And so today it looks like It is the most extremely, as I call it, extremely well marketed term, right? And in that whole marketing exercise, the scientific definition of it is getting lost, and it's sold as a technology. But as a technology, the challenge is it's creating confusion, significant confusion. And if you, as I said from my previous slide, leaders are clueless. And we all know that it is not a single technology. Those who are practitioners, it's not a hammer, as I call it, or a saw that it can cut everything that we have. Uh, but at the same time, a lot of leaders think it is like just implement AI and we are good to go. Don't know what domain, what area of the business, but they just want AI. About 10 years ago, when I was also doing some consulting in the big data space, and at that time also I used to speak at this conference. I had met few CMOs of, I would call, Fortune 50 companies, and they would say, we just want big data. So can we get Hadoop? That's all we need. I said, why Hadoop? He said, because we want to check box big data. So these are similar kind of challenges with today's implementation of algorithms of AI, right? We all know, even as I said, my even undergraduate students know it is a field of computer science. It was developed or thought of at that time to mimic human intelligence using computers or machines. And we all know human intelligence is pretty embedded, is like self-learning. Uh, at the same time, it is resilient and it is explainable. But then, from a marketing perspective of artificial intelligence, we have started adding all these fancy adjectives to it. But as we all know, human intelligence, if used ethically and humanly, solves many problems for the society. But same thing we can do actually if we look at this field of artificial intelligence, if we apply it correctly, various algorithms, the various methodology to solve some very complex problems that are beyond the scope of human beings, then we can actually help the society and the humanity, whether it comes to, for example, the big talk in the world is about energy transition, uh, new drugs for unknown diseases. Uh, right, these are areas where speed, the complexity can be addressed if we use the tools of this field properly. And but at the same time, it's not uh, it's not one tool. It's one size fits no one actually. So how can we do that? The way sensible way to do is look at the current businesses or business processes or workflows, whatever you are, product, services. How do I optimize using the data that we have? What kind of algorithms could we actually apply? And how can we explain those as well? And then if we can optimize, then we can automate at the right time, and then eventually say, can I actually innovate new solutions for the similar kind of problems or the workflows or the products or the services? And so, in some sense, uh, the journey of leveraging tools of AI is to optimize, automate, and innovate, and not something just saying I have AI as a technology. And if we do that, then we can significantly generate value. But to generate value, most leaders need to have a better vision and a strategy. And in order to that, more importantly, is that vision has to be driven by what am I actually doing for the business? What do I want for the business? At what time frame? And what inefficiencies as leaders? Most leaders should know what their inefficiencies are, whether it is explicitly recorded or they have tacit knowledge of it. And then based on that, they should build the right strategy. But it does not automatically lead to results unless two other components are actually done in parallel. One is the infrastructure. Uh, as I said, the comment on my first slide, somebody said if I have R and Python and big data, we are actually implementing AI, or we are AI ready company. That kind of attitude doesn't help. Uh, and or you see you see lot of things that people will say that uh, people, oh, let's get the cloud. I was just listening the few last slides of the previous talk as well. Yes, cloud is important, but in what context, right? And I think the last speaker really listed few points about various kind of problems that can be solved with cloud. But again, it is not just that everybody like should just check box that I have cloud, so I am like AI enabled company. These are some of the challenges. And then the third one, which is forget about the IT technology companies, but most domain based companies, science and engineering, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's energy, whether it's drug discovery, most of these companies invest significant on like train the people in the domain side. For example, in oil and gas industry, they will invest a significant amount of money to train geoscientists or reservoir engineers on the subject. But then who's actually being trained for information technology, so-called computing platforms, where most of the people who work in the industry, they are all self-trained. And that itself is a gap, because you this as we all know, if take any of the cloud platform, but doesn't matter which one, there are so many features, so many options, so many combinations that you can build the right combination of cloud offerings to optimize a solution. All that requires learning and training. It's not that you just get these people to do all by themselves. So there is a huge need for investing in talent, including leadership, because they need to really understand how things work. And because they they are responsible for the value proposition, right? As leaders, they are as responsible, and they have to take different steps. And typically, for uh, these steps are related to what I called transformation of the business, the product, the services, which can actually lead to what I call disruption in their own industry or in their own company, so that they can actually be resilient as well as able to take advantage of all the emerging technologies that are taking place. And if these four steps are actually thought out correctly, then they can build the right strategy and plan for how to take advantage of uh, AI ecosystem. Now, in the very beginning, I showed the slide saying, "Oh, AI can give results in 30 minutes because it's such a magic." But look at it. Most of the companies, again, my context is all about not companies like the Googles of the world or the AOLs of the world, because I used to work for AOL. Uh, could actually look at huge amounts of data much faster. But when I'm looking of traditional industries, energy, pharma, uh, manufacturing, they, especially oil and gas, propagated the message that they have a lot of data, they have huge amounts of data. But actually, 10 years of my experience basically showed that it's all dark data. And dark data is defined by as something, the data that has not been used to create value, because of it has so many underlying challenges. And then now, very interestingly, and this analogy works very well in the context of oil and gas industry, especially. They are very good at pipelining oil or gas, but they are very bad at pipelining data. So data sits in silos, a significant problem. Cloud. Now, unlike many other industries, these, especially these bigger complex industries, have a challenge of putting cloud. Where do you put the cloud? You put the cloud in the office, or you put the cloud on the field, or you put it on an offshore platform. Where do you put the cloud? So what is that cloud look like? That's why I put a question mark there. When wind farms, where do you put? Geothermal, where do I put? Right? What combination? What is the what should I call the capacity of the cloud as well? So these are a lot of challenges thinking of technology. Edge computing, fog computing is involved, but the challenging part is data provenance. How do I know that the data that's coming and data that is being saved in various data resources has been actually vetted out? And then if really you want the value, then you have to go from dark data to smart data. And that itself is a undertaking for any significant project. And hence, all those people who talk about that you can do in 30 minutes have probably no clue as or what are the different aspects of the data ecosystem is. The other challenge that you see is top leaders kind of really believe in vendor software, vendor cloud, vendor databases, uh, and then they become captive to those. That becomes a costly proposition very fast uh, for some of these industries. Whereas, because these most of these companies will show you a very rosy picture that you know how easy it is to use and all, and as a result they will put all their data there, and then suddenly your compute cost has gone up or your storage cost has gone up, your networking cost is going up, and then suddenly in 3 years you see that you did not even budget properly. But if you really want to transform industry like complex industries, then really we need to think about highly customized solutions in the right context. So most of these companies have multiple business lines. There cannot be one size fit all for them, and eventually the goal is to build some scalable solutions for various aspects of the business, whether it is supply chain. Now supply chain is a very almost everybody will talk about it in terms of from fundamental statistical way of approaching it to all the way to now quantum computing way of addressing it, but these have to be done in the right context. So supply chain, the solution developed for a geothermal or for a manufacturing plant is not likely to automatically lend itself to be customized, could to be used in oil and gas supply chain. So one has to really think about it that you need to build your own customized scalable solutions for what business you are in or what business line you are doing. And the reason why these things are hard because this is a survey that I do of top leaders in the industry, and I've been doing it for last almost 15 years. And I ask these questions as to what they understand by these terms. Uh, and they write, and this is a paper and pencil kind of a survey, not an online survey. When I do my master classes, I ask them to write, and then I grade them. And you can see that most of it is either black, red, or yellow. So a lot of leaders have no understanding of these terms, how they work, and they are leading efforts. They are leading organizations. So this is why you read Forbes article and Fortune article or whatever article, magazine article saying 60 to 80% of projects fail. But having said that, there's a lot of ways one can actually invest properly that you can think of really building what I call the avatar talent at the top, which is very important. That means these people are really know about the business side as well as the technology side, and they can take advantage of these new computing paradigms, as I call them, whether it is first principles. When I talk, since I'm talking in the context of energy, manufacturing, and drug, most of these industries are really science-based industries. Uh, Large portion of it, besides sales and marketing, you can take them a little bit off, but otherwise the fundamentals lie in the science of it. So if you actually can leverage that and do augmented data science, it becomes very powerful. But for that you have to really have the right talent. So I personally have conducted these workshops. I've done a lot of leadership and talent classes. I'm not going to go in that section, but there is a what I call method to this madness as to how you build this talent in this industry. And why is it important? The reason is, in most of these industries, you will see, first thing is that most of their data is not complete. It's so-called not of good quality, because there have been standards prescribed by various people, various the NGO, not NGOs, I should call them, various industry groups. But at the same time, implementing them has been a challenge. Or even same company in two different divisions, they may not have the same level of standardization. And as a result, it becomes a significant time waste and data waste, and eventually it's the capital waste. People think that, oh, that we have the data, good or bad quality. Now think of it, if your data is of bad quality and you have it in a database, and now you are, since you are moving to the cloud, now you are putting the same bad data again into a cloud. Now that's a significant cost. uh, what can be done, right? Same thing, if you are think of, you have petabytes of data and only 30% of it is good, you have really now invested significant amount of money to keep it, and now you're keeping it for years. So you're actually increasing the cost for the company. This is something people are not taught. We all know there is a physics law called the Kreider's law, that moving data is one of the most expensive thing, but still people are, without thinking, people are actually building so-called data lakes. And when and where it is important, they should be built, not for everything in an organization. Hence, people need to really figure out how to integrate the data if they want to mature in this digital journey. And that's even harder. But once you do that, you still have three areas to think of. Um, Governance is really good, right? Governance is very good, that you have no access to data, right? Data will sit in the silo and the owner of the silo keeps control of it. But that actually leads to no generating no value from the data, or very little value from the data. But when it comes to ask any of these big organizations how many data sets you have, how many data warehouses you have, or what data elements are there. Yes, there has been a lot of work on MDMs. Even then, people would not be able to actually say how, where the data is, and where, what kind of data is residing in where. And eventually you spend more time trying to figure out the data than actually building models. So yes, AI can do things in 30 minutes, but the foundation of that takes months, years in some cases. Uh, and then also, when you look at these data, there are copies. Who knows who edited the data? So the provenance part is missing. So in order to really do that, these three areas need to come together to make things really helpful, and leaders need to know. But anyway, AI is a term that people use, love it, and uh, it is, people think it's AI. ML is a different thing, but at the same time, in order for business to really take advantage, and this is something that I use as a 2-minute tutorial on AI. It's all about that we want to find the hidden inefficiencies in a business and create value from the data that we have. Whatever methods, toolkits we want to use, those are all part of it, whether it's science, engineering, data mining, applications. of using algorithms, but at the aim is to do optimize, automate, and innovate solutions. Uh, all everything else is in the background. So leadership really need to really think different. There is a race, as I call it, race to resilience. That means we have to think beyond Stone Age leadership and silos if we really want to build our business as a resilient business. And it's resilient in real time because technologies, especially the exponential technologies, they are growing faster at it. Many of these big complex industries are still talking about, let's put, at least till 3 years ago, they were saying, oh, can we put Hadoop or Spark or Kafka, things like that. And we all know how database technologies have evolved in the last few years as well. People are still trying to figure out how can we actually move on to that. So if we really want to take advantage of it, we need to really understand how to increase our speed for these adopting exponential technologies. And the only way that I know of it is that in order to do that, one has to have a platform thinking, so that we can build scalable platforms which are modular and agile, so that we can replace the technology that is more appropriate uh, if, from today onwards. And hence, this whole process need to be really uh, thought out differently than in traditional way of what was called the change management in the industry. But this can be done by a clear thought process. You can look at the risk of doing these things and then also how much value you are generating. These are some examples of how you can do build data lakes. You can get some inefficiency, but then then does it offset the value of the time lost in order to now search, time to move the data and then to search data in a big data lake, instead of where you know where the data is in a small data warehouses. You could actually generate value faster. But those are some areas to think of. Uh, can we actually build optimize single workflows, which can give you some efficiency. It has little risk because if you optimize one workflow and the other connecting workflows are not up to the mark, then you could have challenges there. But at the same time, one can actually think of, say, in drug discovery areas, we could build highly innovative solutions using the data that we have and using significant amount of algorithms, and you can reduce the time by significantly by from 30 to 50%, at least on computationally, and then actually do the experiments or generate the drug in through chemistry. uh, that is possible, and that can actually save you significant amount of capital investment, and that can actually generate more pipelines which can be tested much faster. And this is I think, as the previous speaker was talking about quantum, so I have to say something because that's what my first love is, the quantum. So uh, combinations of quantum and AI solutions is the next front for especially drug discovery. And then, of course, in other areas, complex workflows, you can really automate those and can significantly save money, hundreds of millions of dollars per year, actually. This is something that I have published in some one paper. So, what could leaders think of? Leaders could think of, instead of just a short-term gain return on investment, they could think of return on invest innovation. Because when you start thinking of return on innovation, then you have to do these small projects, then you scale them up, and then you actually build an integrated solutions for your business. And this is practical from experience, that I think that people should be talking about return on innovation rather than just return on investment. And there are some examples of some areas, like when you actually think about these kind of return on innovation focus, you can see that comes to data quality, as I said, most of these industries have a significant challenge. One can actually build accuracy in models so that you can improve your data quality almost to 80%, uh, and significant. And then whether it is revenue, cost savings, when you start thinking about how do I actually how much should I invest to generate this kind of results, you will see that these results will lead you uh, from immediate returns to actually, if you look at NPV, you can see significant amount, and that's what is called return on innovation. That it actually keeps growing as time progresses when you build solutions the right way. So what I say is, a leader who acts is the leader, because it's time for accelerating the disruptive innovation through proper investment, whether it is on infrastructure or whether it is on people, and understanding how these emerging technologies fit into our business challenges and how do we take advantage in the right appropriate manner. And that of course has to be combined with the experience of the domain you are in, or what I call it, highly contextualized and customized solutions that need to be built if you want to be resilient in the what I call in the real time, as you adopt newer and newer emerging technologies. Right, that is what is needed for most organizations, because we need to transform fast in the era, especially what is now called Industrial Revolution 6.0, where the machines will be the more prominent one taking leadership role than the human beings eventually. So I think it's time for us to act. Some of these things are written in some of these articles. Those two books are not mine, the red color ones, but they actually talk about some of the challenges in the industry and could be helpful for someone who wants to get into that industry. I have kind of partly moved out of it, but because I'm more focused on how I can build quantum solutions for more complex challenges. That's all I have. Thanks a lot.